Here we are. Oh, no.
Cat in the face first thing in the morning.
Exactly. Um, Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Julie. Good morning.
This is Bella. Bella's always wanting to be on my lap. I I opened my records this morning, and when I open my records, I open the earth as well. And and as I was grabbing my cup of coffee to come back and sit down and be in here, I was like, I heard we are happy. We
Aw.
are happy. And I'm like, really? Because I wasn't so happy yesterday, but I'm glad we are happy.
Yes, happiness is contagious, so that's good. Yeah.
How are you?
Oh,
Okay, maybe we should introduce ourselves first. I don't know.
sure. Go for it.
Oh, okay.
Want me to? Oh, okay. Whatever. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Tammy Langowski, and we are here as two psychic moms this morning discussing whatever comes up for us in spirit. We do channel some information as well. So I am an intuitive advisor to your questions and working with clairaudience, clairvoyance. I channel some messages that I like to post on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me on Tammy's Intuitive Services on my social media, and tammy'sintuitive.com for my website. And to Julie, whichever direction it really is. Not
Oh,
sure.
and the funny thing is, you're top to bottom in my world. So
Oh, okay.
how interesting is that? So
Yeah, I'm side by side
we've completed the whole circle there.
here. So,
I'm Julie Hawkins. I am the Biz Psychic, and it's funny, Tammy. You start out with, I'm clairvoyant and clairaudient, and um, I think truly we are all the clairs. I know I am
yeah.
the clair. I am the clair. Started out with clair cognizant, which is a knowingness, and then clair sentient, which is feelings, and clairvoyant and clairaudient, and we be the clairs. Claire, we are the clairs. So I always say it's like a little movie that plays in my head. Everything is there. So I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic, and I can be found at Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic on YouTube, where I channel once a month. I channel questions, I channel a commentary, whatever my guides are giving to me at the time. Most lately, and almost always, something to do with the pandemic, and for a while, politics. I'm kind of glad to be through with that, at least for the moment. But there's lots of pandemic stuff, and yeah, private readings, free channeling, and of course, with my good friend Tammy Langowski,
Oh.
as we are two psychic moms, and I just love it. Oh, and by the way, I was having a conversation with Dottie Boone yesterday, who is the
Oh,
California psychic.
love Dottie.
She's like, "Do you know Tammy?" I'm like, "Do I know Tammy?"
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah,
She wanted
she's
to
great.
thank you for your referral. So,
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I kind of look at it like for speaking of along all that subject. So and Julie's right, we are all the clairs, and I think I always emphasize clairaudience and clairvoyance because those are the two primary that I rely on, so to speak, when I'm doing my sessions. But you're right, absolutely, it comes in all ways. Sometimes I just feel it, sense it, you're right. So, and for me, sometimes, speaking of Dottie, because I think she's really great, and Dottie's been around doing readings forever. And I remember her way back in the day before I'd even really started. And so she's close to my heart in yeah, same. That's awesome. I sometimes will refer people to Dottie during my sessions because I really like to work with people's questions and things like that. For me, of course, I'm only speaking for myself. I know Julie, we each have our own kind of little style, individual style. And so, certainly I open up initially in a session, and kind of whatever comes to me, I speak about. And then I like to open up to questions, and specific questions, or even better, we dialogue, just like in counseling would be, in a sense, back and forth. Sometimes if people are looking for a lot of future type predictions, and sometimes that comes through for me. I mean, it definitely has. There's been lots of validations like that, but I don't seek that so much because we do know that time is very fluid and energy can change. But I find that Dottie likes she used to anyway. I don't know if it's still that way, but you know what I mean? She's great at taking those kind of questions, and I've enjoyed readings with her.
Me too.
So yeah, so sometimes I like to refer people to her if I think that's like a little bit more they need or a better fit, for what they're needing. So that's why I try to always emphasize I'm not like, somebody, I don't prefer to have somebody sit down, so to speak, in front of me and just say, read me. And I'll say, well, we do that. We do that to a degree. But then you and I are going to be talking back and forth. We're going to be dialoguing because my goal is to really help you. And so the best way that I can help you is to know what's going on, much like a therapist would do, really. I'm not a therapist, but I'm just saying it's that kind of thing. And certainly things will come through on their own too. But so that's why I try to explain the difference of really a psychic reading versus, well, intuitive counseling or intuitive advising. So you'll definitely get some of that with me. But anyway, I don't mean to ramble on about it, but I think she's great. And thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. So it's interesting. I feel like Tammy just channeled me. I think
With each other. Yeah.
I think that's why we connect so well. I work exactly the same way. I am not a therapist. I am a trained life coach. I've been a life coach for 20 years, even though I don't actively practice that with clients. That is not my business anymore. I only coach by invitation. I will occasionally invite somebody to do a coaching segment with me, but it's rare. However, like you, my readings are always interactive. They're always best that way, and I do coaching in them because that's how they work through me. So we work very similarly, and I love going to you for a reading. And I think we as intuitives and psychics, we need to do that. We can't
Yes.
always see what's best for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, some people, I tell people that it's like, oh, I'd love to go for readings. I don't have them a lot. I mean, just because, but yeah, we too like to have a different perspective. Sometimes reading our own energy, and I think anybody's intuitive or does these sorts of things will totally agree with this, most likely. But, sometimes the things that are so close to us are hard for us to kind of separate, like we're great at opening up for somebody else, right? And listening, unbiased, right? kind of information, I guess. But when it's about our own stuff, sometimes it's just nice to have that. So I agree, and I love readings from Julie as well. So we will do more, I'm sure, for each other in the future. So it'll be great.
I think so. Like I said, there's those occasions for you and I think it's very, again, I'm speaking for myself, but I have a feeling I'm speaking for you when I say this, that we're always there. We can always tap in and we always get our information. I mean, I don't always open up records to get it. I open up records to channel for the global or for a question. But I'm always getting information, as I suspect you are too. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
our own, right?
Yeah.
I always get my own information. Again, every once in a while, I'm like, okay, I hear the information, but I want a second opinion.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like I'm hearing it. Yeah, and I agree. And I think again, probably most intuitives would agree that our own guides are very helpful to us. But yeah, sometimes we just, if it's something that's very, for me, I notice it's when it's a very emotional subject, very close to home, then it's that's when I think it's really helpful, yeah, to get some. Often though, maybe for you too, Julie, you might find that when you do get another reading from somebody else, it really does validate what you kind of already have gotten or what you already know. And really that's true for a lot of readings in general. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had clients say, oh, good. Okay. That's what I was feeling. I said, well, okay, exactly. So this really is about validation for you, just right. Yeah. So it happens a lot, which is credit to those who, to the clients who are coming to that, their own intuition is maybe very spot on. And sometimes, that experience of having a reading, then a session is just to help that clarify that wow,
Well, I think so many of us, and I'm going to include myself every once in a while, we get this information or we get the intuitive hit and we're like, nah, we tend to discount it. And I remind my clients, I remind my friends, trust your intuition. I'm
Yeah.
not saying ignore everything else. I mean, that's why we have an ego. That's why we have an id. That's why we have all those parts of us to dance, to um, round out who we are. So it's all information, and we should weigh it all. But and I'll add one more thing. I do like referring clients sometimes to other people too if I feel like it's not the right fit. I don't work with dark energies at all. And so I know Dottie and Corky, Dottie doesn't, but Corky, her wife, does. And, or at least used to. So I will refer on because that is not my thing. One thing I noticed from the get go when I started doing readings and kind of went against the code I was taught about um, predicting time, well, predicting in general, because these are spiritual readings. There's not supposed to be any prediction per se, right?
Yeah.
Which is why there is a lot of validation. But I was from the get-go given dates and not so much dates, but time frames. I will hear, okay, 6 months from now, you will be a better time for this, or no, it's 2 years out, and it's from the time we talk, and and I tried to ignore it for a while, but it was like, why would you ignore that? We're giving it to you for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that makes
Exactly.
sense.
Exactly.
Okay then. And they're very accurate, generally speaking.
Mhm.
So anyway, maybe enough about us, right?
Well, I think it's probably interesting information, right? That's what I think. People are always interested in kind of how, I hope you are. We hope you are interested in, just kind of how we as intuitives work too, and how we feel about getting information and passing it on sometimes to somebody else. And
Oh,
yeah,
definitely. Most
all good.
definitely. I mean, also I'll share that, I've been on a dating site and a couple of dating sites and not loving the experience so much, but whenever I tell somebody what I do, they're like, oh wow, I want to hear more about that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I mean, people want to
exactly.
know, even
Yeah.
people who, unless they're 180-degree skeptic,
Mhm.
they want to know. And I think the reason they want to know is because they recognize a little piece of that in them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I love that you're doing dating sites, by the way, because I don't know. I'm just going to jump on that little subject for a minute because um, I love it when it comes up in as questions in a reading. I know that our guides, I say our guides or who I'm working with, maybe the client and my guides or whatever. So speaking for our particular sessions, but they really recommend it. They always say, don't be afraid to do that. So yeah, you may have to, kiss a few frogs before you find your prince. I hate to kind of put it that way because, everybody's got a prince inside of them, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Some people it may be, oh my God, that was a disaster. Oh my God, and then other ones are great. But they always say, you know what? It's a great way to meet people. So I just thought I meant to say that because I know I get that a lot. I don't know about you, if you get something similar for other clients who even ask about it or if they do.
Tammy, I love hearing that because and I do get clients that ask about that. And this is Felix, where Bella is, Felix likes to have his moment in the sun too. Um,
Yeah, look at it.
when people ask about that, I will say in the majority of the readings I have done for them, the majority of those readings, I have to say, yeah, there isn't someone in the picture anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I hate to disappoint people. So it's hard for me. I'd rather not have those questions asked, which is why I like the biz psychic, ask me anything about business, life in general. Um, you know, whatever.
Just in case you hadn't noticed him. The
Exactly.
tail swish in the face. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
just
I know
because,
what you mean.
yeah, it's sometimes it is hard, and I do, and I will. They will answer those questions.
Mhm, mhm.
This is not the right timing, or here's a lesson for you to work through for you to bring in and manifest the relationship you want. I remember I did a reading for somebody who really, really, really wanted to manifest a relationship. And it was kind of the common theme every time we had a reading.
Uh-huh.
And and every time we gave the reading, it was, here is the lesson you need to work on. And she really just didn't
Mhm.
want to hear it or agree or whatever. And kind of the last time I ever had a reading, gave her a reading.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I can't. I'm sure you will agree. We don't make stuff up. We will not deny information that comes in. We will tell you what we're getting. Now, is it sometimes subject to interpretation? Yes, I will say that I do my best to interpret the information as it is given to me. Generally speaking, I'm just very straightforward with it. But when you're seeing pictures, you have to just share, this is the picture I'm getting.
Exactly. No, it's true, and it's good for people to know that, right? I mean, it's important before they come, and um, I agree with everything you say. I think it's similar for me as well. I like to like love relationship questions and things like that. I like to go into the heart chakra in particular and take a, I call it kind of chakra talk because I have no other term for it. And so I have just a little
Good.
conversation, yeah, with the chakra. And I tell the client, you don't have to repeat, or you don't have to answer anything I'm asking you. We're going to have a dialogue and I'm going to repeat what I'm getting to you. And I find that to be really, really insightful. I mean, I know as an intuitive, it's super insightful for me. I hope it is as much for the client. I think it is if they open up, like you're saying, Julie, to really listening to what maybe some of the blocks are, the lessons are, or it's something to work on, right? We all are here to work on stuff. So, yeah, anyway, I get you. I agree with you.
I love that, Tammy. And I'm not saying I'm gonna adopt that. They'll tell me what to do, but
Yeah.
I love that you do that. Maybe it will allay my concerns about giving those kinds of readings, because
Yeah.
it it has not been my favorite thing to do. But
Mhm.
anyway, so what was your theme for, or did you have a theme, or did they give you information to?
No, obviously we just kind of opened up, didn't we? So, I was getting a little bit about balance today, and it came in more of like the balance of kind of, we're going to go to the pandemic. I know so much talk about it, but here it is. Right. So a little bit of the balance of, being very, very careful, which at least my guides are like, yes, be very careful. They'll talk about the hand. They'll show me clairvoyantly hand washing. They'll show me, doing the things, but also the emotional balance of keeping yourself, gosh, how do we say it? Because I don't want to say anything that makes it sound like you should do this or that. And that's not where we're going at all. I think emotional balance for me is a lot of, you also need to, it sounds so strong. We suggest that you don't put so much concern into the worry and fear and paranoia. Let's go into that word maybe, right? Yeah, and that it's really important to have the emotional balance. So if you can safely be out, and I am not one, I'm very much one that believes in really being careful in groups and things like that. And they will say that to me as well. But you get what I mean. I'm going to let everybody, interpret that how they will. But just we want you to be happy in all ways. Emotional health is super important. Not that we really need to tell anybody that, I guess, but so finding, yeah, so the balance is
I
kind
know.
of like get that balance.
I love it. I'm taking notes because we get off and I'm like, what did we talk about?
Yeah, I know. I was going to do the same thing. I'm glad you just reminded me because I thought about it too.
Can't remember. Just like during your, I don't know about you, but when I'm giving a reading, when I get off of the reading, it's gone. Now I will remember snippets of it,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
somebody asks me about it, but I'm just like, "Pff, it's gone."
Yeah. Exactly. And that's a point I was just touch on that for a second because I know you had something to say.
No, no, go, go.
It is just that, yeah, people should understand that when Julie and I are similar in that way, when we're channeling, it's so true. I mean, when we open up, like, have you ever had somebody say, "Oh, man, that was good. I want to write that down. What did you say, Tammy?" And I'm like, "What?" I can paraphrase. I can like kind of, what I just heard and remembered. But yeah, it's so true because channeling really is kind of comes through and then it's there,
It's
But
gone. Yeah.
anyway, I just wanted to mention that. So
I'm so glad you did. And I do exactly the same thing. They're like, "Can you repeat that?" I'm like, "No." This is why I record every reading, every teaching, because I cannot repeat it because I channel so much of it. Yes. Gosh, we're so alike. I feel like I found my psychic soulmate.
I know, right?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And anyway, I got you off of something. Now I'm going to try to jog your memory of what it was, unless you know what's coming in for you. What did you have kind of like you said theme or anything?
It does piggyback onto yours in just a bigger picture, which was, we are happy today and we want you to be happy today. Today is all we have. That's all we ever have. And worrying it's a waste of energy. You can't control it. So why bother? Uh, Somebody once said this to me. I'm not channeling this and I'm repeating it because I like it so much and I use it often, which is, instead of worrying about what's going to happen, maybe just wondering. It
Like
is a
that.
completely different energy, and it takes an immense amount of pressure off of you to um, control, which you cannot do. Just hate to break that news to you. And and I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and I said to her, um, I I'm cautious. I do all the right things. I don't worry about getting this. It is not my time. I was told long ago when my time was, and I hope they're right.
You know,
And yeah, they're talking to them. I'm not going to repeat it anyway. And we when your time comes, it's your time, and it's not about the pandemic. It is a moment in time for you as the human race. This is big, and we don't have to tell you that, but it is truly monumental. And it's interesting because when I first started channeling back in May, I got that this was going to be a strain that was going to mutate a lot, and it already has. And I listened to just a snippet of news this morning. I really keep news to a minimum, bare minimums, truthfully. And of course they were talking about the mutated strain that has shown up, and that's what will happen. And we're getting that it will continue to mutate this. And what we got way back then was that this is a virulent strain. It is like, you are not going to push me down, you are not going to control me, I'm going to keep searching to survive. And this is really why it's going to take so long. One of the reasons it'll take so long for this to get under control. All that being said, we'll circle back to, when it's your time, it doesn't matter whether it's the pandemic, or you fall on the floor and have a heart attack, or you're hit by a bus, or whatever it is. It is, your time is done in the physical world, and you will end this lifetime.
yeah.
And worrying about it will cause you to release the things that you can control, which is your enjoyment of life in the present.
Mhm, mhm.
So
Yep,
we
well,
really, yeah, we just really invite you to, you know it's going to happen. Death is inevitable for all of us, and worrying about it isn't going to stop it, change it, make it better or worse. It's going to happen when it's going to happen, and enjoy each day as you should.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
absolutely. Being in the present. So true. And it's been said that, it's been said that there's exits that there's exit opportunities, let's say, right?
yep.
And it is hard for us all to wrap our brains around if there was somebody lost a loved one during this pandemic, because it's easy to say, well, if it wasn't for this stupid pandemic, this person would be alive. And we get that from a human perspective, absolutely. But yet, they're saying again, it was an opportunity also for one, and we don't mean to minimize it and the pain and the sorrow and the grief that's left here on the earth plane. Absolutely. I would feel so sad, if one of my loved ones were to have passed from it. And yes, it'd be easy to go there and say, well, if this hadn't happened, this person could have lived another whatever. But like you said, Julie, people pass in many different ways all the time, as we know. And, for many souls, I think this is one of the opportunities for an exit, we'll say. We don't mean to make that sound cold hearted or meaningless. It's not, but I think you understand what we're saying. So,
I love that, and we're going to piggyback a little bit more on this topic because um, I have heard that too, that these are opportunities to exit, and I would call them near-death experiences rather than opportunities to exit, because they really aren't. They're telling me they really aren't opportunities to exit. Your entrance and your exit is set. They are opportunities that come in between to help you reevaluate your life and to understand where you're at and what you need to continue to work on before you do exit uh, in full. And so when you say, if not for the pandemic, well, it's if not for the rain, if not for the flat tire, if not for tripping over the cat, if not for, and there
exactly.
is no if not for. There is a plan.
Mm-hmm.
You agreed to it before you came in, when you were coming in, who you were going to come in to be with, and a lesson you were going to learn, and when you were going to leave. The variables are what you do with all of that when you aren't here.
Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. And so, yeah, so what I want to almost say with when you're saying that is like, so it's just something for everybody to think about, right? And that the pandemic is bad, but there's lots of things that we consider not so good. We'll say the word bad again, right? And like you said, if it's not this, it's another way that somebody transitions. So we're not glamorizing the pandemic by any means, or my saying this doesn't mean like, oh, we should accept it. We should accept it for the lessons that it is, providing, but yet it is going to be another way for some souls to transition.
Absolutely.
And just like there are, like Julie said, any other thing that could happen to any of us anytime,
We think
obviously.
what is disturbing, of course, is the massive scale of it. Correct?
Yes.
It is when people are born and die every day. It is this massive scale, or the profound and sometimes horrific way in which death can occur. And that is what we see as disturbing for humans. It is like the many years ago, maybe not that many years ago, that there was the big tsunami that killed something like 600,000 people in in the eastern, Thailand. And I mean, it offends our senses as humans to imagine that that can happen.
Yeah.
And it has happened throughout our human existence and will continue to happen throughout our human existence. It is nature's balance. It is our human balance. And when we are truly out of balance in certain ways, nature and the universe will be like, aha, we need to come into balance. And there are many ways that we do that. Now, all that being said, balance is never balance. We're never really in balance. It's always moving, it's always dynamic. Just as we are, it is the macro and the micro, it is as above, so below. We are very much always in movement. Wow, we're on a roll here.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what life is. That's what we journey through coming in. That's what we look forward to, believe it or not, before coming in, right? Is that opportunity and just like you said, that journey in itself to look at all this. So it's heady stuff, isn't it?
Gosh,
But it
was great.
at the same time heady, but real. I hear real and what is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And do you know, yeah, this is, they're like, we love this talk. Coffee talk. Coffee talk. Channeling my ancestors in New York.
Yeah.
I'm a native Californian, but they were, from the East Coast.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
All right. Anything? Oh, any cat talk today?
No cat talk. Not for me, really. Cats are doing pretty good. They're enjoying the wrapping paper. They like it. Well, one of them in particular loves this time of year. Yeah, he'll almost come in say I'm wrapping presents, and I've had the door shut, and somehow he gets in or he wants in or whatever. You can see visibly when he comes in, like, hey, what's going on in here? Why didn't you let me in earlier? I mean, you can see it. Just like when you're making, like, changing sheets on a bed or something. A lot of people can agree. Yeah, exactly. It's like my cat will come in like, oh, wait a minute. He'll jump right up. It's so obvious. He's just upset with me because I had the door shut on him so I could get the bed made.
Oh my gosh. It is such I love hearing that because I have 8 cats. I spilled the beans this time.
Oh, you did.
And
I love it.
only one of them wants to help me make the bed, and that is Felix.
Interesting. I'm surprised not more out of all 8.
I know. He is my troublemaker. He is always my troublemaker. And at the same time, completely and insanely adorable. So I call him
of course.
Of
course.
Yes. Oh, and one announcement we didn't make at the beginning, and I will make it now, and we'll make it on the next ones. And I'm gonna Facebook. I need to get so much better about putting this stuff on Facebook and these announcements. Tammy and I changed our recording day and time to Tuesdays, and so I'm going to publish this on Wednesday from now on.
Okay.
Or should we keep it Friday? No, I like Wednesday. What do you think? Let's make it now.
I'm okay with Wednesday. Yeah, whatever day works better for you. That's fine for me for posting it. Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, and we want to remind everybody again about, I know we've said it before, about any questions you might have for us.
Yes.
What kind of questions we're talking about. We're talking about, questions that we can generally kind of look at for you and everything. And otherwise, we're open for sessions, obviously. You know where to find us.
Obviously, questions that somebody submits can't be very personal because it's not a reading. This is a reading where we can go in depth with you. This is a channeled message. And while we can give you some information, it's not going to be as detailed or as deep as a reading would be. However, all that being said, send us your question.
Yeah, do, because we'd love to explore those for you and see what we get. It's exciting for us to be able to do that as well. So yeah, I think that's it for us, is it, Julie? Did you have anything else you were going to say?
No, I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday, a safe holiday. We don't need to party with everybody to have that, and please don't. And let's go into this new year, which I personally cannot wait for, filling our heart and our heart chakra with that just love. When we come from love, we give love. When we give love, we receive love. It just couldn't be simpler. Doesn't mean we're not human and we don't get pissed off at people or hurt feelings or disappointment, the whole range of feelings, just say thanks and try to move, not try, there is no try. Oh, Yoda says, do or do not, there is no try. Just move on, let it go, because piling resentments do not help you. All right, that's another whole conversation.
Yes,
So
enjoy. Oh, I was just going to say, enjoy your holidays. Happy holidays. I have my ugly sweater on today. This is for festive, for, because nobody else
ugly.
will be able to see it.
I don't.
But I got to show this to you. So, do you see my big dinosaur?
Oh, I love this, Tammy. I do not think it's ugly at all.
Isn't it cute? It's a cute, ugly sweater. And you know what? I will say, this is, back in the day, all of my family's pictures they weren't considered ugly sweaters, and they were Christmas sweaters, but I go along with the fun of it. But yeah, I got this one like major sale at Target, I think, last year.
I'm going to have to go look, because I love it.
It's fun. And even the dinosaurs, which I can't really show because it'd be too hard to show you, the dinosaur's tail wraps around the back.
Oh, come on, stand up and turn around, please.
No, I'm kind of in an awkward area here. Let me see. Let me see if you
love it.
Maybe if I go down like this.
Okay, you're good.
And wait, I'm going to go the other way. Here we go.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, you're disappearing a little bit.
I know, I'm doing all weird stuff here. There, you can kind of see.
Love it, love it. How could you not be happy with a dinosaur on for Christmas?
I know, isn't that fun? But I love Christmas. Of course, I love holidays. So that I this thing. But yes, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you're celebrating, enjoy.
Yes, and please keep questioning us and visiting us and subscribing to us, and we're sending out love to you for this time and as we move forward. I'm Julie Hawkins, and I can be found at juliehawkins.com or bizpsychic.com. That's my website, and usually my social media is some combination thereof. And YouTube is Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic, and we are 2 Psychic Moms on YouTube. And Tammy, your contact again?
Yeah, so Tammy Langowski, you can find me tammy'sintuitive.com and Tammy's Intuitive Services on Facebook and Instagram. My YouTube, I think, is Tammy Langowski. And Julie already mentioned our 2 Psychic Moms. So that's how you can find us. Both Julie and I are available to schedule sessions for you. For myself, I do half-hour or hour sessions, and I can do them, obviously for the time being, regular phone call, Zoom, or FaceTime. So I give you a choice kind of what you want to do. Anyway, and I don't know if you want to add to that, Julie, for yourself, anything with that?
I'm just going to say all of mine are on Zoom now, and I actually love it. And I'm already booking into the new year. I'm sure you are getting, that's happening for you too. I'm already booking. And we're also on Higher Healing, HIRE, healing.com. Oh, with a great group of amazing light workers, intuitives, and healers. So
yeah, check out our events, everyone. We have them. I don't know, how often do we have them again? Or they were monthly.
Excuse me, twice a month.
Yeah, so Higher Healing, and then those are called like Higher, HIGHER circuit, the actual events. But Higher, HIRE healing.com is where you'll find us as well. So
everywhere.
Yes.
All right. We will see you next week when we will talk about maybe the new year and getting into the new year.
Yeah, that would be great.
What we can expect and what you can do. And we're going to have a whole couple of, I think, sessions on that. Right, Tammy?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right.
All right.
Virtual hugs to you, my friend, and see you soon.
And to you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Back at you.